Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. This chilling rhyme has echoed through American folklore for over a century, transforming a brutal double murder into a macabre nursery song. But the true story behind these words is far more complex, a baffling enigma that continues to haunt us. On August 4, 1892, in the stifling heat of Fall River, Massachusetts, a crime so audacious, so utterly unthinkable, would forever embed itself in the annals of unsolved mysteries. Her name was Lizzie Andrew Borden, born July 19, 1860. To outward appearances, she was a woman of good standing, deeply involved in her church, teaching Sunday school to children of recent immigrants, and an active member of the Christian Endeavor Society, even serving as secretary-treasurer and the Women's Christian Temperance Union. But the facade of respectability in the Borden household hid a simmering cauldron of discontent. Her father, Andrew Jackson Borden, was a man who rose from modest beginnings to become immensely wealthy through furniture and casket manufacturing and successful property development. He was a director of textile mills, owned considerable commercial property, and served as president of the Union Savings Bank. At the time of his death, his estate was valued at an astonishing $300,000, equivalent to $10 million in today's money. Yet, despite this vast fortune, Andrew Borden was infamous for his extreme frugality. The family home, even in an affluent area, lacked indoor plumbing, a basic convenience common for the wealthy of that era. The family dynamics were strained. 3 years after Lizzie's mother, Sarah, passed away, Andrew married Abby Gray, Lizzie's stepmother. Lizzie and her older sister, Emma Lenora Borden, harbored deep resentments, with Lizzie openly stating she believed Abby had married her father purely for his wealth. The live-in maid, Bridget Sullivan, an Irish immigrant, testified that the sisters rarely ate meals with their parents. Tensions escalated dramatically in the months leading up to the murders. Andrew's tendency to gift real estate to Abby's family members infuriated his daughters. In one notable instance, Lizzie and Emma demanded a rental property they once lived in, buying it from their father for a symbolic $1, only to sell it back to him for $5,000, a sum equivalent to over $170,000 in today's money. This constant financial maneuvering and perceived favoritism fueled deep-seated animosity. Adding to the unease, just days before the tragedy, the entire household suffered a violent illness. Abby, in particular, feared they had been poisoned. The night before the murders, John Vinicum Morse, Lizzie and Emma's maternal uncle, arrived to discuss business matters with Andrew, staying in the guest room. His presence has led to speculation that their conversation might have intensified the already tense atmosphere, especially concerning property transfers. The morning of Thursday, August 4, 1892, dawned hot and humid. John Morse left the house around 8:48 a.m. Andrew Borden departed for his morning walk shortly after 9 o'clock. At some point between 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m., Abby Borden went upstairs, presumably to make the bed in the guest room. What happened next remains shrouded in horror. Forensic investigation suggests Abby was facing her killer when she received the first blow, a hatchet strike above her ear. She fell face down, sustaining contusions to her nose and forehead, before her assailant delivered 17 more brutal blows to the back of her head, leaving her dead on the floor. In total, Abby suffered 18 or 19 hatchet strikes. Andrew Borden returned home around 10:30 a.m. His key wouldn't open the door, so he knocked. Bridget Sullivan, the maid, went to unlock it, uttering a curse when she found it jammed. Chillingly, Bridget later testified she heard Lizzie laughing from the top of the stairs immediately after Andrew knocked. This detail was crucial. Abby's body lay visible on the second floor, meaning anyone upstairs would have seen her. Lizzie, however, denied being upstairs, claiming she told her father Abby had received a summons to visit a sick friend. Andrew then lay down on the sofa for a nap. Crime scene photos contradict Bridget's testimony that she removed his boots, showing him still wearing them. At approximately 11 o'clock a.m., a second, equally savage attack occurred. Andrew Borden was struck 10 or 11 times with a hatchet-like weapon as he lay on the sofa. One of his eyes was split cleanly in two, a horrifying detail suggesting he was asleep at the moment of the attack. His wounds were still bleeding, indicating a very recent death. Moments later, around 11:10 a.m., Lizzie called Bridget downstairs with a blood-curdling scream. "Maggie, come quick! Father's dead. Somebody came in and killed him." The family physician, Dr. Bowen, arrived from across the street to pronounce both victims dead. The initial investigation was marred by inconsistencies and missteps. Lizzie Borden's initial answers to the police were described as strange and contradictory. She offered changing alibis, first reporting a groan, then claiming she heard nothing. Officers noted her calm and poised attitude, which many disliked. Crucially, despite her suspicious behavior, Lizzie was never checked for bloodstains, and her room received only a cursory inspection, with police later admitting they didn't do a proper search because she was not feeling well. In the basement, police discovered a hatchet head with a freshly broken handle, immediately suspecting it was the murder weapon. The ash and dust on it seemed deliberately applied to make it appear old. However, in another critical error, none of these tools were immediately removed from the house. Adding to the mystery, just the day before the murders, Lizzie had tried to purchase hydrocyanic acid from a local druggist, claiming it was for cleaning her furs. The medical examiner, however, testified that it had no antiseptic properties. Days after the murders, Lizzie's friend, Alice Russell, witnessed a highly suspicious act. Lizzie was seen tearing up and burning a dress in the kitchen stove, claiming it was covered in paint. Was this the dress she wore on that fateful morning? The question lingered, unanswered. The inquest on August 8th was a disaster for Lizzie. Held privately, her request for her family attorney was denied. Prescribed regular doses of morphine for her nerves, her testimony was erratic, often contradictory, and she gave multiple conflicting accounts of her whereabouts on the morning of the murders. On August 11th, Lizzie was arrested and jailed. The trial began on June 5th, 1893, in New Bedford, drawing widespread national publicity and public interest. The gruesome evidence included the victims' skulls, which were brought in. The courtroom. Upon seeing them, Lizzie Borden famously fainted. The prosecution, however, struggled to conclusively link the hatchet head to the murders, arguing that the handle must have been removed due to blood, adding a bizarre twist. Just 5 days before Lizzie's trial, another axe murderer occurred in Fall River. Bertha Manchester was hacked to death in her kitchen. The similarities were so striking that they were noted by the jurors, though a different man was later convicted. Despite the mounting circumstantial evidence, a crucial piece of testimony, Lizzie's attempt to buy prussic acid, was excluded by the judge, who deemed it too remote in time. After only an hour and a half of deliberation, the jury returned with a shocking verdict. Not guilty, Lizzie Borden was legally a free woman. She declared herself the happiest woman in the world to reporters, but the shadow of guilt never truly left her. Lizzie Borden remained the prime suspect in the public eye. Theories abound, each more chilling than the last. Did she commit the murders in a fugue state? Was she driven by abuse? Was she caught in a secret tryst with the maid, Bridget Sullivan? Did her uncle John Morse, with his absurdly perfect alibi, play a role? Or even her sister Emma, acquitted but ostracized, Lizzie adopted the name Lisbeth and moved with Emma to a large modern house they called Maplecroft. Despite her wealth, her life was far from peaceful. In 1905, after an argument over a party Lisbeth hosted, Emma moved out and never saw her sister again. Lizzie died of pneumonia on June 1, 1927, at age 66. Emma followed just 9 days later. Both sisters were buried side by side in the family plot. The Borden case, with its lack of a confession, a definitive weapon, or a clear motive, has become a cornerstone of American true crime. The house where the murders took place is now a museum and a bed and breakfast, with the actual hatchet head preserved at the Fall River Historical Society. The truth of that sweltering August morning, the real hand that wielded the axe, died with Lizzie Borden. And to this day, the chilling question reverberates unanswered. Did Lizzie Borden truly take that axe?